Zeus, the king of the Olympian gods, is one of the most important figures in the God of War series. From the very first game to the climax of God of War 3, his character went through huge changes in design, in his role, and especially in his relationship with Kratos. His story is dramatic. The only child to survive after Cronos swallowed his children, the one who started the great Titanomachy war, and the ruler who carried the heaviest burden as king of the gods, so heavy that it made his face age quickly. And of course, his biggest conflict came against Kratos, in a brutal betrayal of blood and family. Today we're breaking down the evolution of Zeus, from his earliest appearances to the great war against the Titans, and finally, his betrayal of Kratos. The story of Zeus begins when his mother, Rhea, faced Cronos. Afraid of a prophecy that one of his children would overthrow him, Cronos swallowed 5 of his own kids. But when Zeus was born, Rhea couldn't bear to lose another child. She tricked Cronos by swapping baby Zeus with a stone called the Omphalos. An eagle carried Zeus away to safety, while Cronos, in his giant, terrifying form, swallowed the stone, thinking it was his son. Years later, Zeus grew up under Gaia's protection. She shielded him from Cronos, who ruled as a cruel king of the Titans. Gaia saw Zeus as the hope that would one day bring change. But little did they know, this was the beginning of the Titans' downfall. In God of War Ascension, during the opening cutscene that narrates the beginning of the primordial war, Zeus makes his appearance when Aegeon breaks his oath. As punishment, Zeus orders the Furies to capture and torture him. The torture was so brutal that Aegeon was cursed and transformed into a massive living prison in Tartarus. This moment shows Zeus's position as king of the gods and ruler of the world. Alongside Poseidon and Hades, they became the 3 most powerful gods, shaping the course of the Great War in the God of War universe. Later in Kratos' journey in Ascension, he even gains the lightning of Zeus. Even though Zeus doesn't fully appear yet, his power already flows through Kratos, highlighting his importance as the king of Olympus. In God of War Chains of Olympus, Zeus is only mentioned, but never actually appears. The story mainly focuses on Kratos, Persephone, and Atlas. Persephone suffers deeply because she was kidnapped by Hades in a plan orchestrated with Zeus. Filled with hatred, she seeks to destroy the pillar of the world as she was forced into marriage and betrayed by the gods. She even allies herself with Atlas, knowing he also despises the Olympians for imprisoning him in Tartarus. Even though Zeus doesn't appear directly, his presence is still felt as the ruler of Olympus. Chains of Olympus makes it clear that every major decision of the gods, including Kratos' mission, ultimately requires Zeus's approval. His shadow looms over Kratos, showing the growing weight of his power. Zeus first appears in God of War 1, when Kratos enters the city of Athens. In this game, he doesn't show up as a main character, but more as an ancient and wise god. His presence is still mysterious, but from his face, you can see the wisdom of a mentor guiding Kratos. As king of the gods, Zeus helps Kratos by granting him the power of Zeus's fury, allowing Kratos to unleash devastating lightning bolts against his enemies, striking even those from a distance. This power plays an important role in Kratos' journey. But Zeus also has a unique role that many players don't know about. He disguises himself as the mysterious Gravedigger, secretly watching Kratos without revealing his true identity. Santa Monica was already setting up a bigger story for the sequels, so Zeus wasn't shown directly as the enemy just yet. That's why they created this mysterious figure, only revealed later on. When Kratos tries to escape the underworld, the Gravedigger appears again, helping him carve a path out of death itself. As a Gravedigger, Zeus is literally digging Kratos out of the underworld, but at the same time, it's a metaphor, hinting that Zeus is also digging Kratos' grave for the tragic destiny waiting ahead. At its climax, Ares went on a rampage, mocking and challenging his own father while holding Pandora's box, hoping to use it to destroy Olympus and steal Zeus's throne. But once Kratos returned from death, Ares saw him as broken and weak. With the power of Zeus's rage, Kratos unleashed a lightning strike that shattered the chains binding Pandora's box. He opened it, absorbed its incredible power, and with that strength, along with Zeus's gift, Kratos finally defeated Ares, the brutal god of war. In God of War Ghost of Sparta, Zeus takes on a far more personal presence through Kratos' dreams and visions. Through the story of Kratos' brother, Deimos, we learn Zeus plays a major role in the prophecy that terrified the gods, a prophecy of a marked warrior who would one day destroy Olympus. Zeus commanded Ares and Athena to find this marked child. When they saw the birthmark on Deimos' face, they kidnapped him, believing he was the one fated to bring Olympus down. And when Kratos tried to save his brother Deimos, Ares struck him so hard that it left a permanent scar across his face, and that scar became the true mark of the prophecy. It was Kratos, not Deimos, who was destined to be the destroyer of Olympus. At the end of the journey, Kratos defeats the death god Thanatos, but loses Deimos in the process. Carrying his brother's lifeless body, Kratos encounters the mysterious Gravedigger once again, who had already prepared a grave for Deimos. Afterward, Kratos walks to the suicide bluffs, reflecting on the tragic fate of his family, his mother, and now his brother. He blames the gods for Deimos' death, for the kidnapping, the torture, and the pain they caused. Then Athena appears through a portal. She tells Kratos that his ties to the mortal world are now severed, and he is ready to become a true god. Athena tries to lift Kratos into full godhood, but the Spartan refuses. Kratos returns to Olympus and declares to Athena that the gods will pay for what they have done to him and his family. In the final scene, the Gravedigger, Zeus in disguise, lays Callisto to rest in her grave, whispering, "Now only one remains." Beside her and Deimos' resting place, a third grave is revealed, a grave already dug for Kratos, prepared by Zeus himself. In God of War 2, this was the greatest turning point. Driven by rage after losing his mother and his brother Deimos, Kratos led the Spartan army into a brutal siege to capture the city of Rhodes. He destroyed the mighty Colossus of Rhodes, proving himself a brutal god of war who dared to defy Olympus itself. But then, everything changed. The Colossus's massive hand came crashing down on Kratos, leaving him fatally wounded. Worse, Kratos had already poured his divine power into the Blade of Olympus, making him vulnerable and weak. And this is where Zeus revealed his true face, not as a wise father of gods, but as a tyrant poisoned by fear. Consumed by paranoia after witnessing Ares' death, Zeus feared Kratos would bring the same fate upon him and destroy Olympus in the process. Seizing the chance, Zeus betrayed Kratos and killed him with the Blade of Olympus, believing that ending Kratos' life was the only way to prevent the prophecy of Olympus' downfall. From this moment, their bond was shattered. Zeus was no longer just the king of the gods, but Kratos' greatest enemy. With the Blade of Olympus in hand, Zeus unleashed its cosmic fury, wiping out the Spartan army in a single devastating strike. Kratos' soul was cast into the underworld, but the Ghost of Sparta would not stay dead for long. He clawed his way out of Hades and set his sights on the Sisters of Fate, determined to rewrite destiny itself and have his revenge. The story then dives into the past. After Zeus escaped Cronos' stomach, he freed his siblings and led the war known as the Titanomachy. With the Blade of Olympus, he summoned the raw energy of the cosmos, striking down every titan, banishing them to Tartarus, and seizing ultimate power. Even Gaia, the mother who had once protected Zeus, was betrayed as Zeus hardened his heart against the Titans for Cronos' crime of devouring his children. But Zeus's wrath didn't stop there. He grew to colossal size and struck down the city of Sparta itself, Kratos' homeland. He destroyed its people, its soldiers, and its legacy, determined to erase everything tied to his rebellious son. Yet Kratos would not be erased. Using the power of the fates, Kratos returned to the exact moment Zeus had killed him. Shocked and enraged, Zeus faced Kratos once again in a battle of gods. He unleashed his full might, transforming into a giant and wielding his powers to crush Kratos a second time. Their battle raged with unmatched fury, steel clashing with divine power. Kratos appeared to surrender, but it was a trick. With a sudden strike, he pinned Zeus's hand against the stone with the blades of Athena, then seized the Blade of Olympus. Just as Zeus had once impaled him, Kratos turned the blade on his father, driving it into his chest. But before Kratos could finish him, Athena intervened. Kratos, furious at her betrayal, lashed out. Athena sacrificed herself, throwing her body onto the blade to protect Zeus. As she lay dying in Kratos' arms, she revealed the truth. Zeus was trying to end the cycle, the endless curse of sons killing their fathers. Cronos had slain Uranus. Zeus had slain Cronos. and now Kratos was destined to slay Zeus. Before fading away, Athena revealed the shocking truth. Kratos was Zeus's son, a demigod who had unknowingly fulfilled the prophecy all along. She begged him to stop his vengeance, warning that by killing Zeus, he would destroy Olympus itself. But Kratos, filled with rage and grief, rejected her. He snarled that he had no father. As Athena's body dissolved into light, her final words echoed, "The gods would never stand with Kratos. They would defend Zeus, for Zeus was Olympus." Enraged, Kratos swore that every god who stood in his way would fall, that their time had come to an end. In the closing scenes of God of War 2, Zeus gathered the gods of Olympus, ready to face Kratos' rebellion. But before the clash could begin, Olympus itself shook violently. The Titans, led by Gaia, had returned. Kratos had brought them back into the war. This was the spark, the moment that ignited the full-scale war of gods and titans that would explode in God of War 3. The peak of Zeus's evolution takes place in God of War 3. This game is the climax of the father and son rivalry. Zeus emerges as the main antagonist, commanding the gods and their armies to wipe out Kratos and the Titans. After Kratos slays Poseidon, he and Gaia finally confront Zeus at the peak of Olympus. With terrifying rage, Zeus unleashes a cosmic thunderbolt unlike anything seen before. The blast tears through Gaia's arm and sends them crashing down. When Kratos begs for help, Gaia betrays him, casting him aside as a pawn no longer needed, sending him plummeting into the underworld. After a long journey, Kratos and Pandora reach Pandora's box, surrounded by the flames of Olympus. Zeus reappears, furious over everything Kratos has done, and seizes Pandora. Another brutal battle erupts between father and son, shaking Olympus to its core. When Pandora tries to sacrifice herself to open the box, Kratos first resists, but then lets her go. The flames die out, and Kratos attempts to open the box again, only to find it empty. Zeus laughs, mocking him for failing yet again. The final showdown begins on the summit of Olympus, with Greece itself collapsing beneath them. But Gaia rises once more, determined to kill both Zeus and Kratos, dragging them both inside Gaia's body. There, the two wage war in her very heart. With the Blade of Olympus, Kratos pierces Zeus and Gaia's heart simultaneously, killing Gaia forever. In the aftermath of Earth's destruction, Kratos finds Zeus's corpse with the Blade of Olympus still impaled. As Kratos pulls the sword free, Zeus's spirit rises again, dragging Kratos into a shadowy realm. Here, Kratos faces his haunting past, his pain, his rage, and the trauma that defines him. To break free, he must let go of hatred and embrace sacrifice. Empowered by Pandora's gift of hope, Kratos escapes Zeus's grasp. In one final clash, Kratos unleashes his fury, pummeling Zeus endlessly until the tyrant god is beaten to death. Zeus's body explodes, shattering Olympus and marking the end of the Greek saga in God of War. In God of War 2018, Zeus appears as a shadow of Kratos' past. This symbolizes that Kratos has not fully escaped his history in Greece, even though he now lives in the world of Norse mythology. So that's the evolution of Zeus in God of War. Zeus's evolution perfectly reflects how Santa Monica built an epic narrative between a godly father and his defiant son. And to this day, the story of Zeus and Kratos remains one of the most legendary conflicts in gaming history.